Welcome to stay-at-home workout number 1. Today's workout is finding the calm in the storm. So you need to have your foam roller, full roller, half roller. If not, a yoga mat rolled up would be fine, or even a towel rolled up. So we need to be creative and inventive. We'll start, as you see Chris, with a sitting cross-legged position. And if you need a little extra boost, you can grab a book or 2 books that might help you to be more comfortable sitting in your hips, because many of us are a little bit tight in the lower back and in the hip flexors. The roller is off to your right side. Sitting, you'll use your arm to stretch it out. The other hand can be at your hip to create the opposition. And as always, every exercise in Pilates rides on the breath. Inhaling to stretch out, exhaling to return. Well, I like to usually do about 6, 7, 8 repetitions per side, but each of you can reduce that amount or go for it. The Pilates breathing really sets the rhythm for the work. So the inhale needs to be taking you all the way out, the exhale to bring you back. We can also add the other arm for a little more stretch and length. Now, just so you all know that there is another position for doing lateral stretching, which is probably a little bit more traditional. It's called the mermaid. Some of us are not comfortable in this position, so I wanted Chris to show you the alternative. And even in this position, you might still need a little extra boost back at your hip, and some of you might need more, some of you might need nothing at all. But interestingly enough, this particular position is great because it encourages hip mobility, both internal and external rotation, which we get just not enough of. So likewise, we're doing lateral stretch with the assisting of the upper arm and the shoulders down in place, so we're getting through the rib cage. Then I'll have Chris change directions, and each of you will determine your position for this exercise. As I said, in the Pilates work, this is your typical, but very, very few of us can really do this comfortably. And if it's not comfortable, then we need to find alternatives. We can start the same way with the hand creating the opposition. The breathing needs to take you there and bring you back. What I like about this position, and Chris is demonstrating this nicely, is her neck is in line with the rest of her spine. So keep that in mind as you're doing this without our watchful eyes, because sometimes the head is doing more than the body. You can add the arm or not. That's your option.
We'll do more of these because I didn't do the other 2.
Great little exercise. You know, and interesting, if you only did this exercise every day, you're that much more ahead. Next, I like the roller across the shoulder blades. You can use the full roller or the half roller, but we'll use the full roller for right now. I'd like to point out something. If for some reason the roller is either too high or too low on the upper back, you can walk your feet back or you can walk your feet forward. The roller should be pretty much at the shoulder blades or in that vicinity, and each of you might have exactly the right spot for you. The hands are laced deep in the web, support the base of the skull, lengthening the neck, and then do your head float and a little bit of upper body curl with an exhale. And also I want you to notice Chris is keeping a very nice neutral pelvis. It's very nice. Many of us get too much in our hip flexors, so be watchful of that. And the breath again is One breath to take you there, one breath to bring you back. Each of us will be different in the degree of mobility. Most of the time, we're pretty tight and stiff in the shoulder girdle and across the chest. When you start the exercise, start small. As your body releases and begins to develop more trust, the motion will become bigger. Now you can also hold this back position, which I like. Breathe and feel more release. I also want to point out that this is really very nice upper back thoracic extension. And the ribs, if you'll notice, are not getting so overwhelmed with the exercise. Also do a little rotation. And we can do, that's it. And you can go back all the way in between. I always like to get that release. Keep the hips in neutral. Then from that position, you can actually kind of do like a little side to side, just kind of really feel how the body says, oh yes, thank you. To come off the roller, you can walk your feet forward and then gradually let the roller fall back. After you finish the exercise, always feel how the exercise affected you. Feel across the chest and the shoulders. Notice how the breath is a little bit larger going into the back. We all too often walk away from our exercises without realizing what they really did for us. The roller is also good at the sacrum. Here again, you can use the full roller or the half roller, whichever is going to be fitted, or you can do one of each. All right. And this is the right way to get the roller at the sacrum. Notice she places a roller at the bottom of the hips. She'll bring the hips up and place it at the sacrum. Every now and then, your roller rolls away because it's a roller. So you might have to bring it back on occasion. All right, this is one of the best exercises to release that sacral area and across the hips. Number one, take the right leg and pull it up to you with the hands underneath the knee. And just feel how nice a stretch that is for the glute and hamstring. Keeping the right leg in place, let the left leg extend and relax. While you hold position, breathe. We tend to hold our breath. So you're going to do your Pilates breathing throughout, large, big inhales, exhales. I like to hold this until I feel a bit of a release across the front of the hip. While keeping the right leg bent, bend the other foot onto the mat. Bend the other leg onto the mat, there. Hold the thigh in place, and we'll add a little hamstring stretch. So you'll stretch, and then release. And here's your breath again. Exhale to lengthen. Notice if you're holding neutral across your pelvic girdle. Now, Chris is displaying a tremendous amount of hamstring stretch. Most of us are we'll find ourselves a little less capable, but she's a good example as to where we want to go to. Bending the knee, you put the foot back on the mat, and we'll duplicate that on the other side. So the left leg goes up, and then the right leg can extend and relax. And you want to breathe. I will remind you that oftentimes the straight leg is off to the side too much. So you might want to just feel, okay, do I feel my inner thigh working and keeping that leg in place? These are the ways in which you can continue to connect with your body. All right, we'll keep the left leg in place. We'll bend the right knee, and we'll do a little bit of the hamstring stretch again. I like to do, 4, 5, 6. Breathing. Let the breath take you to where you want to go and bring you back. And what is really ideal here is to try to keep the thigh from pulling toward you, which will limit your range of motion. And some of you will need to keep the leg further back, and or use a band or a magic circle. And we'll keep the left knee bent, and then you'll draw the right leg up as well, both knees together. Hands will hold the roller from rolling, and you can start a little bit of a sway from side to side. I like to start small. What a nice courtesy exercise for your hips and for your spine. And then you could go bigger. And then if you do, then I like to make sure that I can get my obliques involved. So as I'm going to the right, for example, I use my exhale to pull the legs back with my left oblique. Double duty. Well, we could go on and on with this exercise for sure, because it feels so good. I like to then put one foot down and then the other. You'll roll the roller away, and as always, feel the exercise. Feel the way in which we were able to really do something really special for the body. Calming. Chris has yoga socks or Pilates socks on, so just in case. These are not shoes, but they've got the little grippers. So I think those are always good, or barefoot. Then we'll do the roller lying on it. We call that supine position. And with this, sometimes it's just not always a desirable way to get on, but we'll do the best we can. So you'll need to actually place the roller the long way, sitting on the end, very, very end. And with this, you really need to use your upper body to help support the back. Not the best way for you to lie on your back. And make sure that all of your spine, from the sacrum, thoracic spine, and the back of the head is on the mat. You also will want to acknowledge that if your feet are lined up properly. This is one of the best places for you to connect to your spine, for the front and the back to connect. And the vehicle is the breath. Inhaling, large, long inhales, long, deep exhales. This is a good place to add the pelvic clocks. So with the 12 o'clock, you're going to exhale. And with your 6 o'clock, which is spine extension, you'll inhale. On the roller, I think you can really identify the spinal pelvic move so much better than when you're just on the mat. The breath needs to connect to the abdominals. The abdominals need to move the spine. The front is the front of the back. Move them together. Find neutral, which of course is between 12 and 6. Feel the sacrum, feel the rib cage. Bring the arms up with the palms facing each other. Then with both arms reaching out to the side, really reach them as if you were moving through a thick fudge. And then lift and pull the arms up. Another great option for facilitating breath into the back and exhale into the front. Oftentimes we consider this a great exercise for stability because with the lack of the upper body support, you'll notice that the lower body has to do a lot of stabilizing, which is good. In another segment, we'll add some knee folds and whatnot. Inhaling and reaching out into space. You can actually get lost if you really allow the breath to take you into both of these motions. Great way for you to open up the chest, get into some shoulder joint mobility, keeping the shoulders in place without elevation or protraction. And then you could just relax the arms by your side. Take a moment to feel what there is to feel. This is a time to calm the body in the storm. Then I like to come off the roller and then lie on my back. Now you need to feel as if you're a little bit deeper in your body, maybe even deeper in the mat. What a feeling to go with for the rest of your day. So here's a routine you can do every day, twice a day. Do it in parts, do it all. So next time, tune in for the next segment, which will be on feet and balance. Stay well, be fit, feel good.